Hi.
Hi, Rory.
Hello. Hey, how are you? How is
Good, how
everyone
are
doing
you?
today? I'm really good. I'm calling from Dublin, Ireland, so completely different time of day. But I know you're all huge fan of this particular city, so
Yes.
Absolutely.
We are.
uh, first one, tricky icebreaker, and you can't pick any of your own songs or maybe songs of friends of yours. But if you go to a karaoke night, what is the song that you're singing to get the crowd singing along?
Me, Pat Benatar, Love is a Battlefield.
Good one.
Everybody sings along with it. Everybody loves it. And it's so you get to do the little dance. So that's my go-to.
Steve Miller. Some people call me a space cowboy.
Woo,
Yeah.
good one.
Oh, yeah. I'm obsessed with the B-52s. I would say Love Shack. I mean, I don't care who you are. Even if you don't sing, there's parts where you can just yell, see a faded sign at the side of the road.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think you automatically win when you pick songs like those because you can just kind of start the song and then the crowd can just take over for the rest of it. You can
It becomes about them singing. You're just hanging out.
I have to ask, because we're coming up to that season, where in the world for each of you do you reckon has been the best place to celebrate Pride?
Oh my goodness. You cannot put that into one. That's the gay Sophie's Choice moment. Like, because there's so many. I mean, New York City will always own my heart, and that's where it began, and that's the best in the world. But also Manchester Pride, London Pride, Tel Aviv. There are some incredible cities that you literally cannot just say the best place. But I think New York City, because of its derivation, because of its inception and what it means, will always just be special.
I agree. I got a chance to sing on the float 2019 in front of Stonewall. That year was insane. And I sang one of my songs, Freedom Dance, and it was just nuts. People out hanging outside their windows. The streets were packed. The music was incredible, and it was historic. So I would have to say New York for sure.
I mean, there's a few specific events. In LA, they always do this summer party called Summer Tramp. That's like a big outdoor adult water park, basically. That's really fun. Everybody's just sunburned and listening to disco. It's very wholesome. And then I'm from Milwaukee, which actually has one of the biggest prides in the country randomly. I know Milwaukee is only the 16th largest city, but it has this massive pride where I was lucky enough to see like Joan Rivers, Kathy Griffin, Monique. I saw, a million different artists, Blondie, B-52s. So luckily, like in Milwaukee, I got to see all the best acts every year.
You got to come forward with your geographical knowledge. 16th largest city.
Well, everybody's always like, why is Milwaukee like, it's not a small town. It's 16th largest city.
Oh, Milwaukee's pretty big.
Yeah.
I think in a certain way, you go into a show like this, and I guess you might have an idea of what to expect. And for me, it's so bizarre that shows like this can bring out an emotionality in the audience watching at home, but also for everyone in the crowd and also for yourself, for your judges. There is just something so specific about the right singer singing the right song and hitting you completely unexpected that it literally moves you to tears. You're just so impressed by the talent of someone on stage. Like, knowing that must happen in a talent show like this, do you still get surprised sometimes that it affects you that way?
A lot of these competitors are smart enough to keep us guessing. So they know what they sang last week, which makes them pick something that they know we won't expect. So if they're smart competitors, they can kind of keep us on our toes the whole season, because in a competition that if you're there the whole time, we can't hear the same genre, we can't hear 20 ballads. So they know when to switch it up. And that's what makes it so effective.
And not giving too much away, there are some moments where the family dynamics bring you to tears. We have a live audience as well. And some of the family members are in the audience, and watching that pride and that acceptance and that love is real emotion. And it happens a couple times.
Tremendous. It's very exciting. It's a nice hook you've given there. So everyone's going to be like, when's that coming? I'm waiting. Something like it just in the last few years that I've been so massively impressed by is we see talent like Sam Smith and Kim Petras, Lil Nas X, just these acts of LGBTQ plus who have become massive superstars. And it just, music has always been kind of an entry for certain acts, and like say Freddie Mercury even decades ago, just for, I guess, like cultural acceptance, maybe, let's say. But in the last few years, it just seems to have gone on fast forward, and it's fantastic to see. Is that something you have noticed even within the confines of this show, or maybe from the winners of the contestants moving forward? How different the musical landscape is for these contestants?
Well, queer artistry has always been there. It's always been a thing. They've just never been revered and honored for who they are, and had to repress it and suppress it and not be authentic because their careers were at risk. This is a very old story, a tale as old as time. So the fact that we're moving forward in so many ways, but yet moving backward, is exciting and also terrifying. So, I mean, to have a number one song from Sam Smith and Kim Petras is like, yes. But, you know, at the same time, they're getting condemned for what they do in America. It's a mess right now. So the musical landscape has always been queer, just not celebrated for it. So it is about damn time, to quote Lizzo, that we do celebrate these queer artists for who they are. And let us not forget that they are able to be out and proud because of their brothers and sisters leading the way. So that's what this is all about. And that's what Queen of the Universe celebrates. First and foremost, their artistry, and then their backgrounds, their queerness for who they are as human beings.
Totally. And as gay people, we love to say, I told you so. So when someone like Kim Petras gets a Grammy, those of us who are real gay people are like, yeah, we knew. We've been saying that, you know. So I think Michelle's not right in saying a lot of music has always been queer, and queer people have always been the tastemakers and the inspirers in music. And it's just being said more now. I mean, I just played Stagecoach 2 weeks ago, the biggest like country music Coachella. It was like me and Melissa Etheridge. Gay people are always out there. I saw that
picture. That was amazing.
I almost had a heart attack because I started playing guitar because of her records, and I just couldn't believe I was meeting her. And you know, there's a lot more queer people out there. Whatever genre of music you think that there's not queer people in, I promise they're there. I promise you.
They've always been there.
They've always been there.
On the flip side, my first tour in 1997, I toured with Luther Vandross, who's one of my best friends, and he had to hide his whole career. And he was the epitome of R&B soul, singing to all these women that were loving him and dreaming about him. And in his reality, he could never be out. So I've seen the pain and the layers of hiding and knowing the real person. And again, they've always been within our music industry.
Fantastic. Thank you so much for taking the time to talk to me today, and best of luck with season 2.
Enjoy it, Rory. Thank you.
Tension in here is thicker than Trixie's makeup.
When the competition is out of this world, whose voice will rule the universe?
That is how you just